If you found this video, it means that you are ready for spiritual awakening. The most important journey that we could ever embark on in this life. Most people are too distracted with the world, trying to do things that lack true meaning and purpose. But when we embark on this journey, that is when our true purpose is found. The temporary has no power over the eternal, but the eternal has complete dominion over the temporary. And so long as we are stuck in this temporary illusion, we are a slave. But the moment we realize our true nature as the eternal, now we are free to live our life any which way we please. I like looking at it. Most people are playing life on demo mode. And only when we awaken to the truth do we have access to the full version. Because when you are a slave to attachments, you are very limited in the things that you can do, in the expression of yourself. But when you are free, there are no limitations. That doesn't mean you will start flying right away. It just means that you can express yourself the most authentically, that you can be the greatest version of yourself. You see, the reason that most people never get enlightened is because the price is just too high, even though what we value most is actually nothing. Because all the things of this world are temporary. They are dust. And so we spend our lives trying to collect more dust. It's like you can build the biggest sand castle on the beach that overshadows all the other mini sand castles. But at the end of the day, the ocean tide will come and wash it all away with the same amount of effort. And that is nothing. Whether you have a magnificent palace or a tiny house, it all goes the same way. But when you find what is eternal, that never leaves you, that cannot be washed away. And so to find what is eternal, to embark on the spiritual journey, to awaken to our true nature, that is the highest path, the highest purpose we can fulfill in this life. Because there are two fundamental forces. There's darkness and there is light. And so long as people are stuck in the illusion of separation, they remain trapped in darkness. And in darkness there is death and suffering. But once you find the light within you, that is your true nature, you become like a lighthouse, shining forth to guide those lost at sea. You can relieve the suffering and the burdens of others, those who are trapped, not necessarily by trying so hard to go out and help people, but through your existence alone. You do not even need to try to do anything. Your very presence will be healing, will be powerful, will be harmonious, because you will no longer have all of the psychological nonsense going on like everybody else. What you find is that, life is being filtered through us. And so whatever information we have in here is being projected onto reality. So we are all experiencing our own little worlds, thinking and believing that we see the truth, when in fact we only see ourselves. But when you come to find the light, a great example I like to use is that imagine if there was a great big brick wall, and over the wall there was a sheet, and in front of the sheet wall there was a great big light illuminating what was on the screen. And on the screen is reality as we see it. But because we're all born as a human being, we're all conditioned to be people, to be individuals. There is a person-shaped shadow in between the light and reality. And so this shadow is cast upon the world. And so we do not see reality as it is. We only see reality as we are. But when you realize that you are the light and not the shadow disappears and you see reality clearly. And in that embodiment of truth, you dissolve all illusions for those who are trapped, for those who do not see clearly, and you free them from their suffering, because only in unconsciousness, in illusion do we suffer, and only in the truth are we free. Think about all the people who went to work today to slave away at a job that they hate, for money that is fake, that they print out of thin air, millions and millions of slaves. For what? Not because the system forces them to be slaves, but that the system enslaves their mind, getting them to believe stories, ideas, narratives that keep them weak, that make them dim their lights, all to harness this divine light that you are, this divine power that is the most valuable resource in existence. The whole purpose is to steal that from you, and without your power you become weak and remain a slave. These are the stakes that we are dealing with. But through our own awakening, we can show others that that way of being is not true, that we don't have to live in that world. Because in the end, the only prison in existence is our own mind. To believe that we have to slave away just to survive, when in truth God has already provided all things. You see, people make their problems so big and make their God so small, when in truth that all of the burdens that we place upon ourselves weigh nothing to God, but they crush and destroy us. And so the moment you realize that we place these burdens upon ourselves and that we don't have to carry anything, that is the moment you will become free. Because it takes no effort to drop something, but it takes a lot of effort to carry, to hold on. And yet at any moment you can give all of these burdens to God and be free and be at peace and be in harmony. And what you will find is that all the things that you need in this life, they will come to you at the right time. And that you do not need to spend all of this energy and time trying to figure out how you're going to get these things. That all the money in the universe is already yours. And that the reason the poor stay poor is because their own minds, is because they are a slave to their own minds. Not because the system is tyrannical. Not because it's anybody else's fault. It's because they do not claim authority over their power, and that is their punishment. Because we all have the most valuable resource in existence, and to waste it and to send it in directions that are not useful, is that not a just punishment to live your life as a slave to people who have claimed their authority, who have claimed their power? Do not think that the slaves are so innocent. I say there are many people who would rather their captors eat their food for them so they don't have to waste energy in digesting it. You see, that is why so few ever awaken. Because there is great responsibility. You become a leader among thousands. You can no longer hide in the back and follow everybody else. And in the face of tyranny and evil, you have to be at the front and say, no, I will not be a slave to your illusion. because my power is so great that there is nothing in this world, in this existence, that has any power over me. And to take that leap of faith is not so easy for a lot of people, because it's scary, because we have been so conditioned and attached to these lesser identities. As it has been said, it's not that we fear being less, but that we fear shining too brightly. Because the light is most useful where it is most dark. And to stand out, well, that could mean death. But what is death to the eternal? It is nothing. Death is but an old friend. And so have no fear, have no worries, have no doubt. Because what you are is everlasting and can never be destroyed. Because it was never created, it was never born, and so it can never die. And when you awaken to the true nature of what you are, you will see this for yourself. It will not be just fancy words that you hear, but you will know for certain that you are beyond death and that you are all powerful.